Brethren and sisters, it is in the same light of revelation that Jesus Christ of Nazareth has purposed for me to include in this testimony the eulogy of my Father for a reason that he tells me is for the benefit of some children of God of whom he has not yet revealed for me now. And so in the following chapter, I am going to include the eulogy of my earthly father, Iwalamu Mr. Simon Ondiek Adongo. Chapter 27. There comes a time in the life of every man or person when the junctures in one's journey become so uniquely challenging to cross yet not inevitable. What is more important, however, is to focus on the course of the journey and make it as much of a success as is possible. These were some of the lessons from my father, Mwalemu Simon Ondiek Adongo. Due to his immense influence, great benevolence, and contributions to humanity, the eulogy can definitely not contain all that there is to say about him. However, it is important to highlight the silver linings in the life of Mwalemu Simon Ondiek Adongo, as I knew him in the capacity of not only my father, but also as a great mentor and teacher in our lives. Many books can be written about his ideologies, perceptions, and philosophies on life. But due to the constraints of time, I would like to focus on only one very powerful teaching from him that has steadily stood the test of time and still continues to be as relevant in this age and time as it was in the previous generations of humanity anywhere in the world. Ever since I can remember, Mwalemu's intuitive understanding of mathematics and physics was not only natural to him, but was also as illustrious as a shining star in the darkness of the night. All his students and colleagues that I have met and interacted with personally, both within Kenya and internationally, can attest to this fact without any doubt at all. I remember an episode with him when I was still a small boy, with milk behind my ears, and just settling myself in Standard 4. Due to Mwalemu's insatiable quest to teach us the very best that there was to know in mathematics and the sciences in general, he would make it a point to go over our schoolwork and ensure that we did all our homework without fail. He really enjoyed it whenever I could apply a mathematical formula to solve the so-called problem sums that gained the reputation of being the most challenging of all problems in any mathematics textbook. So one day, I crammed a complex mathematical formula that was taught at a grade higher than what I was going through at that time, and proceeded to apply it to solve the problems presented in that chapter. To my surprise, I was able to solve them without fail, and the thrill led me to consider informing my father about this development, and also demonstrating to him that I was able to complete the exercises presented in that chapter with great accuracy. As soon as I got home from school that day, I made it my top priority to pleasure him with this latest development in my life. He was very surprised at first, but was patient enough to listen to me and also see me solving the mathematical sums that came right after the demonstration of the formula in the textbook. I was so overjoyed that I could not help giving myself a pat on the back for achieving this seemingly monumental feat. But to my utter dismay, as soon as I completed the problem sums, I could see my father's face truly changed, and the look in his eyes were not so kind. He had been watching me maneuver through the textbook, but did not utter a word until I was done. I wondered why he was not proud or even excited about my demonstrated ability to deal with complex mathematical matters. Before I could say anything, he proceeded to asking me a few questions about the sums that I had just solved. And before soon, I realized that even though I was able to apply the mathematical formula that I had crammed, I really did not understand where I was doing that much. After demonstrating this to me, he made his point very clear, and he quickly told me that mathematical textbooks are not to be read like storybooks. Mwalemu focused on an in-depth, intuitive understanding of the subject matter in anything that one had to learn or grapple with in life, and he went to a great deal to explain himself and teach one to also value the same approach in life. Although often quick to using force in educating his students, he was very patient and quite welcoming to those who were willing to learn from him and genuinely demonstrated that desire. Intuitive and in-depth understanding of any situation or challenge in one's life often gets one nearer to the solutions of one's problem more efficiently and with a lesser cost than usual. While it might take a relatively longer time to achieve this feat, it sure goes a long way to ensure that better results are gotten and much better solutions are arrived at. Pol pol mbio wendo, haraka haraka hena varaka, mwenda pol hajikwe, jurikmi jambud nyoyo gikwoyo, and simba wenda pol, ndio hula nyama. Since then, that whole lesson has always stuck in my memory in a very powerful way, and has been part of my value system in life, even in many other spheres of life outside the classroom or the lecture halls at the universities that I have attended both in Kenya and the United States of America. I believe that this point is a very powerful one, especially for those who are still at a tender age and are going through the rigors of academic education as well as the struggles of life as they journey themselves through various academic institutions. It is this approach in life that keeps the fire of research and development burning at all times, and it ends up producing much better solutions to real-life challenges. Winston Churchill once said that, "The further you look into history, the more you will see into the future." And today, apart from reiterating these words, I'd also like to remind ourselves of the biblical words of the famous King David, when he not only agrees with these sentiments, but also informs us through the book of Psalms 46-1-3 that God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. Mwalimu Simon Ondiek Adongo lived a humble life, and even though he was not open with his religious activities, he strongly believed and agreed with King Solomon on many issues, especially when it came to acquiring earthly riches. It is in the words of King Solomon that a good name is rather to be chosen than riches, and that your own soul is nourished when you are kind, and destroyed when you are cruel. Baba upheld these ideals in his life. Mwalimu never sustained or entertained foolish arguments because he believed, just like King Solomon, that a fool is wise in his eyes. My father was a master of critical thinking, and he would quickly ask anyone deviating from the issues at hand very unique questions that would prevent them from making errors in their analysis of issues. He had many parables that could sometimes take days or even weeks for one to truly decode, and it was like he enjoyed creating and using them at will. Today, we can only help to celebrate his life and derive great strength from God, who giveth and also takes away. We greatly love you, Baba, and we will miss you very much. But we also have hope that you are in a better place, and as you shine on us, we also remember that God Almighty will ensure that justice will be done to all those who contributed to your challenging times on earth, for he says that, "For the Lord loves the just and will not forsake his faithful ones." They will be protected forever, but the offspring of the wicked will be cut off. The righteous will inherit the land and dwell in it forever. May you rest in peace, Baba, and may the good Lord grant you eternal peace in his kingdom and long-lasting happiness in his paradise.